Believe it or not, that's your FBI director, Kash Patel, celebrating with the U.S. men's hockey team after their overtime win against Canada to win the gold medal. It was an incredible win that all Americans can celebrate. Now, why exactly the FBI director, who you might think would be busy with all sorts of things, why he's in the locker room in Italy, seemingly pounding beers along with the team, well, you could be forgiven if you're asking that question, especially after FBI spokesman Ben Williamson was lashing out at a reporter from a different network on Twitter the day before the game for asking whether Patel was going to attend the match. The FBI spokesman writing, quote, "Your rag outlet wrote that he went to hang out at the Olympics on the taxpayer dime, even when provided information that your theory was false," unquote. Now, the FBI is denying this was a personal trip for Patel. They say the director flew to Milan on the FBI's Gulfstream private jet for meetings with Italian law enforcement and security officials, adding that the FBI plays a major role in Olympic security and that the trip was planned months in advance. Of course, the Olympics was planned years in advance. Director Patel responded to the criticism on X, apparently not taking it very seriously, writing, quote, "For the very concerned media, yes, I love America, and was extremely humbled when my friends, the newly minted gold medal winners on Team USA, invited me into the locker room to celebrate this historic moment with the boys," unquote. Of course, the issue is not whether or not Kash Patel loves America. It's about his judgment and whether or not he's embarrassing the Bureau and the perks he grabs and the seriousness with which he treats his job. And one would think the FBI is pretty busy these days with lots of things going on. The Government Accountability Office estimates that flying the FBI private jet costs at least $5,000 per hour, meaning Patel's Olympic trip could theoretically cost taxpayers at least tens of thousands of dollars. And we should note that the FBI director, for security reasons, is legally mandated to use government aircraft for all travel, including personal trips. But they are required to reimburse taxpayers for the commercial cost of their travel. But the question is, why was he in Italy to begin with? The trip to Italy is far from the only time that Patel has faced accusations of using government for his personal benefit. Reportedly, at Patel's direction, the FBI is even providing a separate security detail for his girlfriend. No, not his wife, not his fiancée, his girlfriend, country music singer Alexis Wilkins, who lives part-time in Nashville. Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee launched an investigation last year into Patel's use of the FBI jet for private travel. There was a time, of course, you might remember, when Kash Patel seemed to have a different attitude towards the use of government resources. This is from his confirmation hearing last year.
And the resources of the FBI, which are funded by the American taxpayer dollars. In the 7 minutes that you and I have been talking about, 2 people have died from fentanyl overdoses. 1 person has been shot to death in this country, and 3 people have been raped. The resources of the FBI will go to that mission set and that mission set alone, because America deserves a better brand of justice, and I'm going to give it to them.
Okay, so how many Americans died of fentanyl overdoses? How many Americans were shot to death, and how many Americans were raped while Kash Patel was celebrating in that locker room? We reached out to the FBI for comment, but we were told the Bureau didn't have anything additional to add to the director's post on X. Joining us now to discuss is the former FBI Deputy Director, Andrew McCabe. I know that Republicans on Capitol Hill are embarrassed about this, not just Democrats. Do you think Director Patel partying with Team USA in Italy was appropriate? And what do you make of the FBI's explanation for why he was in Italy? You've certainly taken meetings around the world.
Yeah, I mean, the video is ridiculous and was completely inappropriate for him to be engaging, to go at all. Let's be honest. The excuse that he had to go for security meetings the day before the games are over is patently ridiculous. Director Mueller once traveled to Greece to consult with partners on the security arrangements for the Greek Olympics 8 months before the games began. That's when the sort of details and arrangements are made that an FBI director needs to weigh in on to make sure that others understand the role of the Bureau and those sorts of things. It's not the day of the final hockey game. And of course, now we know exactly what he was doing there. Horrible, horrible message to the FBI rank and file. It's absolutely, I'm sure that this video is coursing through that population today. And a horrible message to the country when the FBI is in the middle of such incredibly important investigations, everything from the notorious kidnapping, now on its 4th week, of Nancy Guthrie, all the way to we may be on the brink of war with Iran. Now, I can tell you from having been in that position before, when you are on the brink of hostilities with a country that is a sponsor of terrorism, the FBI is right now using a microscope, or they should be, to go through all of their records to find Iranian sleeper agents in the United States.
It's impossible to imagine the former FBI director, Chris Wray, ever doing something like this, even though he was forced out by Trump. But listen to what Patel, back when he was a podcaster, said in 2023 about how Chris Wray used the FBI jet.
I'm just saying Chris Wray doesn't need a government-funded G5 jet to go to vacation. Maybe we ground that plane. $15,000 every time it takes off. Just a thought.
And lest we forget, in 1993, President Clinton fired the then director of the FBI, William Sessions. He was accused of improperly using an FBI plane for personal travel. I mean, I understand that this jet is for, you have to use it if you're the FBI director, but you don't have to go to the Olympics and do beer bongs with the players and the gold medal winning hockey team.
Of course not. That requirement is the reason why every FBI director I ever worked for went out of their way to not travel for personal reasons only. It's absolutely outrageous, the level of hypocrisy that you see here. Jim Comey and Christopher Wray both moved their residences to the D.C. area to avoid having to travel home every weekend. There's been enormous amount of reporting on Kash Patel and the amount of time he spends outside of D.C. every weekend, traveling back to Las Vegas, which is, I believe, where he lives, or other places. So the hypocrisy is absurd, and the FBI people understand that.
I just can't imagine being somebody in, let's say, a missing persons case, thinking that the FBI could be doing a better job, should be doing a better job, and looking up and seeing that image. Just shocking. Andrew McCabe, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Coming up, an issue that has kept President Trump fuming all weekend ahead of tomorrow's State of the Union address. My next guest also has a lot to say on the issue. He's going to attend the address at the invitation of a Democrat. Stay with us.
The State of the Union, Tuesday at 8 on CNN.